All right. Well, hello, everyone. My name is Eric. Welcome to tonight's information session from Neotech Academy. Before we went officially on the air, I was asking the folks who had logged in, to describe their ideal job. What are some characteristics of that? And I got responses such as working remotely, of course, good pay. That's a big one. Having a healthy work-life balance. And you know what? We're going to talk about all of those things tonight. But I think what it really boils down to is freedom. Freedom to do what it is that, how can I put this? To live life on your own terms. I know it almost sounds cliche to say that, but I think really freedom is like the all-encompassing word. And so if I could describe tonight's session, I'm going to say that's what it is. It's about freedom. Okay. So here's what we're going to accomplish. I'm going to give you some background on who Neotech is, some information on our really what it is. It's a life-changing boot camp. And I know that might sound dramatic referring to it as life-changing, but I think you'll see that tonight. One of our alumni is going to be joining us a little bit later, and he'll be interviewed by one of our founders. So you'll see that in just a little bit. You'll be able to ask our alumni some questions. Folks, I want you to do this. Do me a favor. Write down this date, September 15th. September 15th. That's going to be the start date of our next boot camp. And the whole idea behind this boot camp is to accelerate your learning. Accelerate your learning. Learning in 6 months, what it would take people 2, 3+ years to learn in only 6 months. So completely changing your life potentially in a relatively short amount of time. So I'm going to get to all of the questions that you would normally ask. I mean, if I was attending this, I would want to know, well, how much is it? What's the tuition? Is there a money back guarantee? Things like that. And we're going to go through all that, I promise you. So we'll touch on the tuition in just a little bit. We'll go through the money back guarantee, how that works. I will say this, in my opinion, I would say this is the least expensive, most risk-free way to begin an in-demand career that you'll probably ever see. And I think you'll see what I'm talking about as we start to go through this. So some of the fastest growing occupations are in IT. For the next generation, if you think about it, everything is going to be tech related. So many things nowadays are already tech related. There are jobs available in, pretty much every major city. I mean, if not every major city. Many of our students have received a remote job offer. Now, and that was one thing that people, you guys were saying before we started, you want something that's ideally remote. So if you have children, especially, that's a big deal. So you're not missing out on those things that are really important in life. Attending their school functions and things like that. That's one thing I love about working remotely, is being able to spend time with the family. There are some, even though remote jobs are available, and by the way, there are more remote opportunities today than there have ever been. There are, in some cases, companies that want you to come into the office and do like a hybrid type role in some cases. You probably have seen this if you are required to go into an office. There are videos that you can watch on YouTube and social media where people will show their work environments. In the IT industry, they have some pretty cool work environments and some pretty great benefits, other than just being able to work from home. If you are required to go into an office, a lot of them will give you, free lunches, except, for X, we all know that. They'll give you, a lot of cases, gyms, generous, gym memberships, generous vacation time. Of course, the higher compensation, that's one of the big things we're going to be talking about tonight, the higher compensation. And, they'll offer in a lot of cases, of course, bonuses, 401ks. Really, I would say IT careers check all the boxes for most people. Now, during the height of COVID, when many parts of the world were essentially shut down, the IT industry really thrived because there were already remote opportunities available, and COVID only increased those opportunities. And, I would say this. The one silver lining, really, I think there were two. Some would say two. There were two silver linings to COVID, for lack of a better way of putting this. The first silver lining is it made people realize that tomorrow is not a guarantee. How many of you would agree with that? So it made people really start thinking about man, I can't rely on the government. I can't rely on this company I'm working for. Tomorrow's not guaranteed. And you got to have a plan B. And for a lot of people, their plan B has become their plan A with a career in IT that we're going to get into here pretty heavily. Now, there are a few things that I want you to know right here at the beginning when it comes to what we're talking about tonight. Don't worry if English is your second language. We have a lot of folks where that's the case, where English is their second language. Yes, you do have to be able to communicate. I'm not saying you can't communicate, that you can't understand English at all. You'll be fine. But don't worry if English is your second language, okay? Don't worry about what your background is. I don't care if you are currently a valet at a hotel or a bartender. It doesn't matter really what your background is. Whether you have a degree or not is inconsequential. Now, some of you might say, well, I have a degree, but it's not in IT. That's okay. That doesn't matter. What employers care about, and we're going to talk about this a few times tonight, they care about, can you do the job? And we're going to teach you to do the things that you'll be tested on during that job interview. We're also going to help you out with job placements. We'll talk about that a little bit later. A question I do get somewhat often as well is, what about age? What if I'm in my 40s, my 50s, my 60s? Can I begin a new career? The answer is yes. So again, IT is checking all the boxes because language not a big deal. Your background's not an issue at all. Your education, your age, all that really matters is, do you have the desire to do the job, and can you actually do it? Now, I will say this is just anecdotal on my part. I'm noticing that we're seeing a lot more people from the healthcare industry as well as education that are looking to make a switch to IT. So I'm just going to throw this out there. If you want to type it into the chat, what career are you in right now where you're looking to come out of and then go into the IT field? So type that into the chat and I'll check it out here and I'll read a few of those off in just a little bit, okay? Now, what exactly is a software tester? Let's talk about that right here at the beginning, okay? What will you actually be doing as a software tester? A lot of people start their IT career in this field, software testing. That's why I'm focusing on this right here at the beginning. Well, this is a very rhetorical question, so you don't have to answer this, but how many of you have ever used an application on your phone? Like Facebook, you've used Instagram, you've used TikTok, you've used Uber, you pull up YouTube, whatever the case may be. You've done that, okay? Now, why am I asking you that? Because you already know what a good application, an application that works, is like. You try to use it and it works, okay? So that's what you bring to the table, having used technology. So what we're going to do is give you some technical knowledge, some technical, really hands-on expertise on top of that, and you put it all together, and that's where you learn with our help how to do software testing. Now, a software tester's role is very, very important, guys. Very important to a company, because think about it. If you are the company, do you want to introduce a product that is flawed, that has defects, that has bugs? Of course not, because you'll get killed with bad reviews. It'll cost you a ton of money to come back from that. So it'll cost you a lot of money. So what companies do is they hire people to test out the software, to make it works, to make sure it works, to make sure it functions properly, and is free of all bugs and defects before the customer, the end user, actually uses it, okay? So now a bug could be something as simple as, it's the wrong color scheme, or the font is wrong, or it just outright crashes when you try to use it. Now, some of you might ask this question. Well, really, there are a couple of questions that you might have based on what I just described to you. Well, how will I know what to check for as a software tester? You'll be given a list of what are called requirements. And so the company that's hiring you, they have a list of requirements. You simply would go through and make sure that everything was done correctly by the developer. If you find a bug, you'll simply be taught how to write it up, which is very, very simple. Don't worry, you don't have to fix it. All you have to do is let the developer know, here's the problem, here's the bug, please take care of it. That's it. That's what you have to do. And by the way, before I proceed, does that make any kind of sense? That's not the only job in IT, but a lot of people start as a software tester. So just from like a 30,000-foot view, just like a basic understanding, does that make sense to you? Yeah, you're just finding bugs. That's really what you're doing. The salaries are higher than the national average. You can see over here. It's a great way to start. 90 plus thousand in a lot of cases. No IT background required. Isn't that awesome? No IT background required. And these are positions at top companies. I mean, I'm not guaranteeing that you're going to be hired by Google or Apple or something like that, but a lot of major companies are looking for software testers. And by the way, guys, don't do it now, but when we're done, just simply go to Indeed.com, go to Glassdoor, go to LinkedIn, and you'll see what I'm talking about as far as these opportunities which are available in your particular area. So what we did was we created a boot camp that teaches people from scratch how to become competent in and have a career in IT. Doesn't matter what your background is, like I keep saying, education level, age, that's all inconsequential. And as I said earlier, they're not necessarily college graduates. They just want to know, the company does, if you can do the job. Now, we're going to train you in this skill set and even provide hands-on experience. Now, I like to always mention this, where if you think about it, the best way to learn anything, in my opinion, is called experiential training. That's where you're shown what to do. Some of you probably know what I'm talking about. It's described to you first, I should say. You're then shown what to do. You then do it, and then you're evaluated on what it is that you're doing. That's the way that you really want to learn. And that's what we espouse here at Neotech Academy, because we want to make sure you actually get it. Just simply sitting through classes, PowerPoint presentations, and that's it. It's not going to really sink in. But actually having you work on projects, that's how you really learn. And that's what we're going to have you do. These projects that you'll be assigned to do can actually be put on your CV, your resume, and will actually help you in that, actually teach you how to compile a resume. So we'll be helping you out with that, and job placement, which, like I said earlier, we'll be helping you out with, and we'll run through that a little bit later as well. The training is provided via Zoom, so don't worry about, man, I can't go to your academy in person. That's okay. It's all via Zoom. I'll go through the times a little bit later. Don't worry if you can't make it at a particular time. We record all the sessions, so you watch them at your convenience. You'll have homework, all that good stuff. You'll be in groups. It'll be just like a real, almost like a college type experience, except it's more hands-on with support, like you don't get in a university level. So you might decide at some point, and you'll learn about all these. And by the way, guys, later in the presentation, you'll see various terms. Don't worry if you're thinking, man, I don't even know what that term means. That's okay. Just like anything in life, it can be difficult to discern exactly what it means at first. But once it's been explained to you, and once you've actually done it, then you're good. It's just like learning something complicated when you think back when you were in high school. I didn't like chemistry. I didn't like, calculus. But, by the second semester of both of those courses, I was like, you know what I learned in the first semester is easy. Why? Because I've done it a whole bunch of times since then. But when I was first exposed to it, though, it seemed very complex. So software development, engineering, test, that's called SDET for short. That a lot of people go from software testing into SDET. If you don't know what that is, that's okay. It'll all be explained to you. Quality analyst, test lead. So you're going to start off with, probably something along the lines of software testing, and then segue potentially into something else, more high level, that also pays more. Course report, they are very well respected in this industry. They rated us, this is a big deal. They rated us back in 2023, last year, as the best QA testing bootcamp. And we're very proud of that accomplishment. Again, guys, it's a 6-month accelerated course, hands-on experience on actual projects. The next one starts September the 15th, so it is right around the corner. It's getting here pretty close. And again, just could, after software testing, if you decide to go that route, looking for a career potentially later on an SDET, QA engineer, and so forth. So possibly starting out, like I said, as a software tester, but then segueing into these higher paying careers later on, like a Scrum Master. I always like to joke, is that rugby related? Scrum, No, but again, you'll learn. You'll learn what a cybersecurity analyst is. Some of you probably already are familiar with some of these terms. You probably have heard of cybersecurity, but how does that work as far as being an analyst is concerned? Again, you'll learn about all these things, during the boot camp. So as you get exposed to these, you'll start to segue you'll gravitate to these other career paths during the actual boot camp. There's also API tester. You might think, what in the world is an API tester? That's okay. You'll learn about all of these things. So again, a boot camp, just make sure we're clear before we go into our next segment here. The whole purpose of the boot camp is to shorten that learning curve. If you've been in the military, I was in the military years ago, you learn a lot of information in a very short amount of time. That's why we call this a boot camp, because what would normally take, as I said at the outset, 2-3+ years for people to learn, you'll learn in only 6 months. And you're going to be proficient in 6 months working on actual real projects. Folks, I want to bring on one of our founders. His name is Elion. He's going to go into a lot more detail with you about what it is that we offer. He's going to tell you a little bit about himself, as well as interviewing one of our alumni. And you'll be able to ask him a lot of questions as well, our alumni, a little bit later. So Elon, you want to go ahead and take it away here?
Yeah, thank you, Eric, for the presentation. So from now on, guys, I'm gonna explain you a little bit how our program is structured. I'm gonna invite one of our alumni. He was a student months ago. Now he's working as a software tester, so you can ask your questions to him. And then we're gonna continue, of course. Again, Eric will continue with the rest of the presentation, which is the pricing and the discounts that we have for today and everything. Okay. So my name is Elion, and I have been working as a software developer for 20 years right now. So when I say that one, I feel old, but anyways. So as Eric mentioned, so we have created this bootcamp in order for us to make sure that we are helping people learn everything from zero. So there are a lot of people who they don't have any experience in IT, but they need to learn, they want to learn, and they want to find a job in IT. And of course, right, it looks easy, but of course there is a course, there is a class that they have to follow, and they have to learn the lessons. They have to make sure that they are following everything. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about the structure. So first of all, what is, as Eric explained, so what is testing, right? So what is testing? So let us suppose that you're working for a company. Let us suppose that you're working for Google or for Facebook or for Twitter, which now is renamed to X, right? So every company, or Bank of America, right? Every company, let's say they have a software. So, and then we're talking about software on the web, right? On the internet, right? So there are different types of softwares, but we're talking about the web applications. So they have a web application. Let's suppose that Bank of America has a web application. So you log in there and you can see your balance of the money, and then you can transfer some money to somebody, and then you can do different things, right, on your application by using your account. So the job of the software testers is to make sure that the quality, that sometimes it's also called quality assurance, that's the same thing, right? Interchangeable terminology. So making sure that the quality of the software is expected. So before we make an update to the software, we want to make sure that everything is working fine, so that whenever the customers see, we don't want the customers to try to work on the application and the application to crash. So that's why the testers, they are trying everything. They're trying to break the software. So if something goes wrong, of course, they don't have to fix it, but they just have to report it. There is a way how to report. There is a way how to find the problems. And then they report the problems to the developers. And then they, I don't know, iterate one more time. They try to fix the problems. And then they say, okay, now everything is fine. Let us make the update. And again, the testers make another test. They make sure that everything is working fine. If everything is working fine, they're like this, they give the okay, and the update can be done. If there's something goes wrong, they find the problem, and the developers, they have to fix the problem, and the testers, they become a hero, let's say, right? Because they are making sure that the company is not having a bad look in front of the customers. So this thing, like the testing of the software, can be done manually. So that is one part of the course. So you're going to learn about manual testing, how to do it, how to report, how to document if there is a problem, right? And then how to do everything by clicking here and there, right? By just using your keyboard, by using your mouse, right? It's called manual testing. So people also work in this field as manual testers, but of course the salaries are low. And of course, a lot of companies, more and more, they're using automation, they're using code. So you're writing your script and your code is testing the application. So after you learn about manual testing, you're also going to learn about coding. You're going to learn about programming. So in our bootcamp, we teach Java programming language. There are a lot of other programming languages, but Java is one of the most commonly used strong programming language. And whenever you go to a company, whenever you apply and you say that I know Java, even if they're using a different programming language like Python, C#, Perl, whatever, if you know Java, you can easily learn other programming languages very, very, very easy. So this takes like a couple 3 months. First 3 months we are teaching Java, so we want people from zero that they know nothing. They need to learn how to code, how to write code, and then at the end of the 3 months they are ready. After they learn Java, which is the first part, then we teach the automation testing tools. So we teach Selenium, TestNG, Cucumber. Those are the testing tools that are used for you to test the application, for you to see if there is a problem, to report. If everything goes fine, to report how many, let's say, tests worked fine and how many tests failed, and then also to take a screenshot of the test so that the developers knows what happened and where it happened. So after this part, guys, after these 3 first steps, you can work as a software tester, but it's called front-end testing, right? Whatever the front-end testing, we talk about the graphical interface that the user see. So when you go to an application, whatever you see there, that is the graphical user interface, GUI, right? And you are testing that part, which is front-end testing. And of course, you can work as front-end tester. But of course, we don't stop there, because we want our students to be let's say, to be able to apply to more different types of jobs. So also we teach another part. So last 2 months, let's say, right, we teach the database and APIs. So that is called backend of the application, something that the users, they don't see. That's why it's the backend, right? So database and API, right? So you learn about database and API testing. And when you learn about that one, you are considered as backend testers, front-end testers. And if you know both of them, also you're considered as full stack testers. So you can test whatever the user see. You can test whatever the backend, right? Let's say where the data are stored, the database and everything. And then after that part, right? After that part, you can apply to different types of job as front-end testers, manual tester, backend tester, and also full stack testers. So these are the technical skills that we teach in our bootcamp. But of course, which is more important, also we teach soft skills. We call them soft skills. So how to apply for a job, where to apply for the job, how to prepare for the interviews, how to prepare your resume, right? So that you are prepared for everything, so that you can find a job at the end of the bootcamp, okay? And also, right, even when you're applying, you're getting offers. Sometimes they're trying to lowball. Sometimes you get multiple offers, and you want to make sure that you are getting the best offer, right? So in that case, we also have a team, which is the career placement team, which they help you while you are applying for the jobs, when you get offers, right? And also how to negotiate with the recruiters, how to, for example, if they're asking you for the green card, are you supposed to share your green card? Are you supposed to share your social security number with them? So also we teach that part to make sure that you're not making mistakes. So these are the tools, guys. Even though you will see a lot of tools here, I don't want you to be scared. So as I told you, right, I mentioned some of the tools here. I said that we're going to learn Java for the 3 months. Then we're going to learn Selenium. Then we're going to teach MySQL, which is database, right, backend testing. Postman and Rest Assured is also, right, backend testing, which is API. You're going to learn about Cucumber, TestNG, which are different testing tools. You're going to learn about Jira. Jira is a tool that is used in the, let's say, company, in the team, so that everybody gets their own part. So let's say you have a big project. Of course, you don't have to finish all the project yourself, but you're working as a team. So which part are you taking? Did you finish it on time? Which part the other person is doing, right? So all these things are managed with a tool. It's called Jira software, right? So I see a question there. Pinar she's talking about Docker. So we don't teach Docker because software testers, they don't use Docker. Generally, that's used by DevOps, which is another field of the IT. So when we're talking about IT, guys, even though right, it's I mean, we say IT, but that's a broad terminology. So we have testers, we have developers, we have let's say DevOps, you have network engineers. So you have different parts that even in the health industry, right? You have doctors, different type of doctors, nurses, and everything. So that's why as the testers, right, they don't need to configure Dockers and everything. Okay. So then we teach about GitHub, which is a tool that is used when you are sharing the code with other people, right, with your team, and then to collaborate with your team, and different tools here. Okay. And Jenkins was also one of the tools that we teach a couple of classes so that you have an information about Jenkins. So this is, guys, what we offer, right? So we're teaching classes. We have a couple of big real projects where we have a group project. So people are working in a group so that they collaborate with each other to make sure that they know how to work, how to use all these tools. Also, we have an individual project. We have a manual testing project. Another thing here, guys, is also, right, as I said, you are working in a team to make sure that you are collaborating with others so that to see how to work in a team and how to share your code and how to, let's say, get the updates. So I know that there are a lot of technical terminologies. I don't want to go too much into details, but just I want to explain to you so what we do in general in our bootcamp. So we're trying to teach the latest methods, strategies, technologies, tools that are used in the current technology. And of course, we cannot teach everything that is in the IT industry, guys, but we teach those things that are enough for you to find a job. Even sometimes our students, they go to a company which are using different tools, and we tell them, don't lie to them. Just say that I know Selenium. And if they're using, let's say, Catalan, which is a different tool, you say, I don't know Catalan, I've heard about it, and I can learn it quickly. So we have had some cases where a student doesn't, right? They're using different tools. Our student, they told them that I don't know that tool, but I know Java. I don't know that programming language, and still they are being hired because they know that a person who knows these tools, they can easily learn new tools. All our classes are online as of right now, right? We're doing a Zoom session here. You're watching from your home, and then these are the classes. They are the same, and the classes are saved and are shared with the students so that they can rewatch them. If somebody missed a class, they can watch the class. If they want to watch it again and again, the recordings are shared with them, and they can watch it from anywhere in the world. Okay. And the same thing we're going to do with this video, guys. We're going to share this video with you so that if you want to rewatch it or maybe share it with a friend, you can share it. We have one-on-one training and mentorship program. So we have people who have been working as software testers for 3 to 5 years. So they have a lot of experience, and they share their experience with our students. As I said, we formed groups, and in every group there is let's say a group of 10 people. We have a mentor, and the mentor is teaching them what are as I said, what are the tools, what are the things, what are the terminology that I used in the field, and then give some from their real experience in small group settings. And again, right, as I said, like we prepare the students for the market. So how to prepare the resume, we prepare them. So we make mock interviews, like sample interviews, so that they are right. So we make interviews to the students one-on-one. One of our instructors or mentors, they make an interview to the student to make sure that they are ready for the market. If they pass our interview, it means that they're good. They can start applying for the jobs. If they don't pass our interview, it means that they need to start a little bit more. So they take their time, maybe after 2 or 3 weeks, they study back, and we give them feedback, and then they come back to and do another mock interview. And again, there are a lot of students, a lot of alumni that are working somewhere, and recruiters. So we're gonna help you find the job. By the way, guys, sometimes I see people that they say that this is a job guarantee. This is not a job guarantee, guys. I want to be open to you. So we prepare you, we teach you the skills, we teach you the tools, we teach you how to apply, where to apply, and then how to negotiate with recruiters and everything. And if you take these things seriously, if you learn these things, definitely at the end, you're going to be able to find the job and to, let's say, and again, I'm saying you're going to apply yourself for the jobs, and you're going to be able to go to the interviews and to land those jobs and to ace the interviews. And also, as I said, like even after you find, maybe sometimes we have some students that got multiple offers. Which one is better? Sometimes they start a job and then they get a better offer, and then they renegotiate. They go to right to make sure that they get the highest compensation from the jobs. So, guys, if you're thinking of starting, our next boot camp will start on September 15th, which is in a little bit more than a month. This is the schedule, guys. So every Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, from 7 p.m. to 10 p.m., 3 hours on Wednesday, 3 hours on Tuesday, 3 hours on Thursday. So it's 9 hours during the weekdays. All these times, guys, are in Eastern time. So if you're in different time zone, please make sure that you do your own calculation. If you're in California, 4 to 7. If you are in mountain time zone, so maybe this would be 5 to 8 maybe. So make sure that you do your calculation. This is New York timing, okay? So 9 hours during the weekdays and 4 hours on Saturday and 4 hours on Sunday. So it is a program of 17 hours during the week. Of course, besides this one, guys, you also will need to rewatch sometimes the videos, depending if you understood them or not. We're going to give homework, so you're going to do the homework. So please make sure that you have like another 5 to 10 hours, depending on your availability, extra to this thing, because you need to take this one seriously. This bootcamp is 6 months. So 6 months, I think, is around 25 weeks, something like that, maybe a little bit more. So it's a 6-month bootcamp. During this time, it starts in September 15th. It will be done in, let's say, end of May. Make sure that you are prepared for this. I am telling you right now, guys, if you don't take this one seriously, if you don't study the classes, if you don't do the homeworks, you're not going to be able to find a job at the end. And as I said, this is not a job guarantee. But if you take this one seriously, if you study every day, right? If you study every day, if you do the homeworks, if you do the project and everything, at the end, you're going to be at a level that you're going to be able to land the job. Okay? Go to the interviews and they're going to see that you have that experience or that knowledge. So these are the things, guys, that you have to make sure, right? Make sure that you follow the classes. Make sure that you take it seriously. Commitment is very important. If you don't commit, guys, if you think, for example, like I'm just being open to you guys. Sometimes there are people who tell me, oh, I want to do the bootcamp. I say, can you join the webinar? It's a 1 hour, let's say, webinar. So we give you the information. Oh, I don't have time for it. So if you don't have 1 hour time for the info session, how can you have time to finish the bootcamp? You're just lying to yourself. So just don't do it, because you're not going to be able to do it. Because to do the bootcamp, you're going to learn. This is a concentrated, instead of doing 4 years of college, guys, you're doing this one in 6 months. You're getting this knowledge step by step in a very good way. And by the way, guys, don't forget to ask, right, during this info session, maybe also later, make sure to ask about some sample videos. We can share some sample videos with you. Those are for free. You can have a look at them to make sure that you see how we teach. And if you like it, of course, you can do it. If you don't like it, you don't have to do it, okay? So as of right now, guys, I'm going to invite one of our alumni. So he was a student months ago, and now he has been working as a software tester. His name is on there. So let me. On there, if you're there, can you? Okay, perfect.
Do you hear me, Alien?
Yes, I can hear you. Just one second. Okay, perfect. So you're sharing your video, but I see blank screen. Okay, now I can see you.
Yeah.
How are you doing?
Yeah.
I think there's something wrong with the sound system.
You want to have a problem with it. I'm just getting reconnecting.
I can hear you, but very, very bad.
Okay. Sorry for that, guys.
So by the way, guys, while he's preparing, please make sure that you ask your questions in the chat section of the Zoom. I'm going to direct all your questions to on there. So he going to share his experience with us, and also he is going to answer your questions if you have any questions for him. Okay. So while he's trying to reconnect or maybe fix his sound problem. So I see a question here about the is this course for citizens of Canada and USA? So they'll ask for work permit. That's 100% correct. So if you are from Canada or USA, you're going to work in Canada and USA, and they're going to ask you for work permit. We also have students for Europe, but we tell them that they can only apply, right? They can only apply in Europe. They cannot apply in United States. So there is not possible. So I see sometimes questions like that. So there are people from Europe and they want to work for United States. That's not possible to work remotely. So just to make sure that that's the answer for that. Yes, and there.
Yeah, I think now it's working fine, right?
Yeah, I can hear you better now.
All right, how are you doing? Miss you, Alien.
Good, good. So I don't know if you remember, like, I don't know, it was a year and a half ago, maybe, when you came to visit me and we had a coffee in Dunkin' Donuts, and you were worried about, I mean, will I be able to finish it and find a job at the end? But thanks God, now we're here and you can share your experience. And of course, you promised that you're going to share your experience with prospect students or also with our students. And that's very good to see you here and there.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Yeah, I remember. I feel all of the student here, the guys. I can say that before you starting, you have a lot of worry. Like I'm gonna be able to find a job, and I'm gonna be able to understand like the courses, the classes. But believe me, they are starting from the scratch. So even if you don't hear anything about the code, you don't know like maybe everyone hear the Java, but they are starting maybe for the creating one class 10 times. I know the alien whenever he's starting he doing believe and just make sure that you're doing your homework and what they are told you guys, make sure you are doing everything is correct way, and I believe you guys gonna be able to finish and find the job as well.
Okay, perfect. So one of the questions, it's were you working during the boot camp, or were you like free and only available for the boot camp?
So when I in the boot camp, and also I'm working in the one restaurant as well. So but I make my schedule like based on they are shared with me for in the weekdays 7 to 10 p.m. Every time to make sure I have availability between that time, and in the weekend also I try to getting off. It can be hard, yeah. But if you guys like serious about what you wanted, it's possible. Like I do it, and I know a lot of friends, and they like me. They are working during the boot camp, and they are found a job as well.
Okay, by the way, just to make sure that we know, so what time did you graduate from the boot camp, and how long did it take for you to find a job, and how long have you been working as a software tester?
Yeah, I like boot camp is took like around 7 months, and after the boot camp, I found maybe in the 5 month. Yeah, in the 5 month, I found my first job.
So it took you 5 months to find a job?
Yeah.
And how long have you been working right now?
So I've been working 2 months. Yeah.
2 months. Yeah. So you're done in December, January, right?
Exactly. I done in December. Yeah.
Yeah. So by the way, guys, as I said, like I just want you to know and to be clear, so that when you're done with the boot camp, some people they plan that, okay, I'm done with the boot camp, next day I'm going to start working. There's no such a thing, guys. So when you're done with the boot camp, you're going to apply for jobs. Depending on the market, sometimes it's down, unfortunately. there are a lot of layoffs, and they're like, you're applying, nobody's returning. Sometimes it gets better. Sometimes you get multiple offers. So it's, I mean, of course, it's preparation. Of course, you have to prepare for it, but also sometimes a little bit luck. So it might take you. So generally, I can say generally it takes around 3 months if you're ready and if you apply constantly. And if you, I mean, normally it takes 3 months. But as I said, I have seen a student who found a job in 2 weeks, which is very, very rare. But also there are a lot of students that it takes, as Under said, like sometimes it takes 5 months. So I think, how many hours were you working a day? I believe that she's asking about the boot camp. So how much time did you spend for the boot camp?
So actually, I just attend the classes, and I just like maybe after classes, just for 1 hour, I just repeat that what we are doing, just going to check in the coding or the but guys, also this one, like for example, today, you're gonna start in Java. They gonna explain to you very well, I trust it, but you have to also going to check in the YouTube or anywhere or the Udemy, just make sure going to understand, like not going to by memorizing, try to understand what's going on, try to understand the logical, because whenever you're also starting at work, you can understand what they wanted to explain to you.
So what about now that you're working for 2 months? Do you feel comfortable there? Was it like stressful first month or first couple of weeks?
Yeah. I can say that, like, first 3 weeks, it's very stressful because I hired by the senior title, so they have a lot of expectation from me, and I'm a little bit, nervous. And but whenever you like, it's normal because everyone, even if you have like 10-year experience, 20-year experience, you're gonna have a hard time because they have a different work type, and maybe sometimes we use like different tool. We use a Cypress, so I have to be familiar with that too. So yeah, first couple weeks it can be hard, but end of the day, guys, you understand what you are doing.
And by the way, since this is one of the things that we explain here, are you using the same tools that you learned in the bootcamp, or is in your company? So everybody has their different answers. So just I want to get your answer.
Yeah.
Are you using different tools in your job or the same tools that you learned during the bootcamp?
Yeah, so we use like some of the same, some of the different. We use the GitLab for you guys teach at GitHub, but it's the same logic, believe me. If you know GitHub, you can understand the GitLab as well. We use a Cypress and a Selenium. So we have two different framework also. One is we use the Cypress, one we use the Selenium. But programming language, we use also JavaScript and Java. If you know the Java, no worries. They can hire you again because it's the same logic like Elian said. If you're learning one language well, believe me, it's easy to learning any other language as well.
Okay, perfect. So here I have a question about the Canada market. So again, guys, if you're in Canada, you're going to find a job in Canada. If you're in Europe, you can only find a job in Europe. I don't want to lie to anybody. I cannot say that some person from Europe can find a job in the United States remotely or something. There is no such a thing, because companies in the United States, they want you to reside in the United States. They want you to work here. They might, after they hire you, they can give you permission to go to your country maybe and work from there for some months or for a long time, but they want you to have the work permit, so that's not possible. So if Canada has a let's say a worse market than United States, please make your own research about Canada market, because I just want you to know about. So of course we help you in Canada, we help United States, but we don't guarantee any job anywhere. So you're gonna do it for yourself. So if you miss a day due to some family problems, can a guy catch up with the class? So if you miss a class, all the videos are there. You can rewatch, and definitely you have to watch the class before the next one. If you miss a week, guys, I've seen students missing a week. If you miss a week, it's almost impossible for you to catch up, because a lot of topics will pile up. So it's not possible. So if you miss a day, I mean, things happen, of course. Definitely, John, make sure that you watch that class before the next one. And I don't know, during the bootcamp, did you ever fall behind or skip any classes in there? You can say it now because you're done now, so you can say whatever you want.
Okay, yeah, so I'm gonna be honest, I missed 1 week, guys, I coming from you. So you guys in the like, I know you are starting the cucumber, I'm still in the test ng like maybe 5 or 6 classes. But you know, depend on you. If you are serious, you're just gonna sit down for the 1 day and just keep and watch and going to catch up with them.
Yeah, definitely. And as I said, it becomes more and more difficult if you don't make your mark.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Really
and
very hard.
sometimes if you fall behind and if you don't take classes seriously, I'm not talking about anybody, but then it might also take you longer to find a job because you're gonna be behind. I remember one student one time, she was from Kosovo, Albanian from Kosovo, and she said she got the green card during the boot camp. She was gonna get it, and she said, I want to go and visit my mom for, I don't know, for a month, and then I'm gonna come back and do it. I said, if you go there for a month, you're done. No, she said, I'm going to bring my laptop with me. I'm going to study there. I said, if you go there to see your mom, you're not going to be able to follow the classes. She said, no, trust me, I can do it. I said, it's up to you. And then she left. After a month, she came back. She couldn't catch up, and it was almost impossible. Of course, we can find other ways to help them. They can repeat the boot camp and stuff like that. We can help them. But if you fall behind, guys, you lose your motivation. You're behind, and it is very, very difficult. So how many jobs have you applied under during these 5 months?
Yeah. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I think 2,000 different.
2,000 jobs you have applied?
Yeah,
And
yeah,
how many
2,000.
interviews did you have? How many?
Yeah, I get a lot of interview and I get maybe 35, 40 different interview. Yeah,
Good.
this
And
one
then and they're like multiple level interviews?
exactly. Yeah, like one is the like first round, second round. Like one of you say, oh my God, okay, I did it. You say, I did it. Okay, is everything going to fine? But they say, I'm sorry, unfortunately, has happened, but don't lose your motivation.
Yeah. And also, as also Eric mentioned, so English is also important. So
Exactly.
definitely if your English is, I mean, you don't have to have a perfect English, that's for sure. But if your English is, let's say, worse, then you definitely should have the technical part stronger. So that may, I mean, having
Exactly.
better technical skills will help you even with a bad English, let's say. And then did you get one offer or multiple offers?
So actually, I get one offer and one other company, they offer me, but it's less than my current company, so I don't accept it.
You got two offers, but you accepted the highest one, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
were they full-time, part-time jobs, or not part-time, let's say contract jobs?
So one is a contract, but this is a full-time.
Is it full-time? And they give you the benefits, right? The medical
Exactly.
insurance and stuff.
Benefit insurance.
And and of course paid days off and everything.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, perfect. And then as always, they try to ask the salary. So what is your salary, right? Can you give a range or something?
Okay, I can give you maybe like it's 6 digit.
6 digits. So like when we
Yeah.
say 6 digits, guys, I like I didn't know, and it is like meaning like 100,000 plus. So that's good, and I'm happy for you. By the way, guys, I'm asking these questions, but I really don't know the information because we have a team which helps our students, our alumni with applications after they find a job. Of course, we help it, but I don't know everything because I generally deal most with the classes. So that's why I don't have detailed information about the about the salaries and everything. So after the bootcamp, do students get a certificate of completion? So John, that's a very good question. Definitely, we give we give a certificate of completion, but the problem is that what is most important, we concentrate on you finding a job. So you finding a job is very important because having a certificate and not being able to find a job doesn't help. Or people, they go to college sometimes, they graduate and then don't find a job. So the purpose of the bootcamp is for you to find the job, is to push you, to motivate you, to make sure that you find a job at the end. Giving a certificate, of course, definitely we give it, but more important is to find the job. So which country do you work now?
United States.
Yeah, so you were here, you had the working permit. So by the way, guys, we don't have too much, but we have some students from Europe, as I said, or some students from Canada. So they will be able to apply on their own countries wherever they have the permission. So they cannot work in United States. So he has work authorization here.
You have a work authorization.
So another good question is, in the bootcamp, which part was the hardest one for you? And of course, different people, they have different things. And which one maybe was easy?
Okay, so that's a good question. The hardest part for me, I can say, to join the classes, because like as I said, sometimes I work in the restaurant, so sometimes it's hard to catch up with the classes, join a little bit late. This is really very hard for me. So if you guys like, you can like for a 6 month not working, it's gonna be perfect. But the easy time for me, whenever we done and we starting to building resume, the time is easy for me.
Okay. And by the way, guys, so we have technical classes, and also once a week we have soft skills like terminology, what we do in the field. So I've seen some people, different people, they have different skills. It's easy for them that the technical classes like Java, it's easy for them, Selenium and TestNG and whatever. But for some of, and for them, it's difficult to talk, to explain themselves. And there are some other students that it's very easy for them to explain what is waterfall methodology, like, I don't know, to explain their background and everything, but they have difficulties with the Java class, let's say with technical classes, with coding. So definitely, guys, depends on the person. That's why some people, they might need to spend more hours. And if guys, you're able to lower your working hours and then spend more time on the bootcamp, it will help you a lot, and it will be easier, and like finish this one easier, and also easier to find a job at the end. The more time you spend, the better you'll be. Okay. And as I said, it's also it's an intensive, right, bootcamp for 6 months, because it will change your life. You cannot change your life without some responsibility, with some dedication, some commitment. So that's not possible without taking this one seriously. Any other questions for Önder, guys, before I let him go? Any other questions?
Yeah, and I can say that maybe, so guys, you guys, if you join the bootcamp, you guys gonna have like Wednesday classes. Just make sure, take it seriously. Can be like, look like, but easy, but it's not. Believe me, it's very important whenever you are starting looking for a job.
Yeah. So when you're saying about the Wednesday classes, guys, just to make sure you understand, it's about, as I said, the soft skill classes. How to explain yourself, how to explain what you do in the company. So those terminologies, they are easy actually, but you have to take them seriously, because when you go to the interviews, that's what they're going to ask you, even maybe more than coding, right? Even more than coding.
Exactly.
Yeah. So thank you very much, Önder, for coming and sharing your experience. We're going to continue with the rest of the presentation. Have a good one, Önder. Thank you.
You're welcome, of course. Thank you, guys, and you have a good night.
Okay, have a good one. Bye-bye. So it was a very good experience from Önder, and I'm going to continue with the presentation, guys, from where we left. So again, right, I'm going to quickly like go over these things one more time. So how do you learn? We have live classes. All those classes are recorded and are shared with you, so you can watch them later, but definitely make sure that you don't skip classes. If you cannot watch a class today, make sure that you watch it later today, or maybe tomorrow before the next class, because the topics are built on one another. We have individual projects, we have group projects. We also have office hours. So besides these hours that I shared with you guys, we have extra hours to help, right? To help the students, right? 1 hour a week or two, let's say on Monday or before the class. If you're behind, if you have any questions, you can join these kind of classes, which are not mandatory, but you can ask your questions there. As I said, we always give you homeworks. Also, we give you tasks during the class, and we solve them together in the next hour, right? Together with the students, to make sure that they are able to solve it. And then we help them and show them how it's the right way to solve those questions. We have coding challenges, some other tools like Replit, which you can challenge yourself and to make sure that you're learning or not. As I said, we have the mock interview, the final one, which will make sure that you're ready for the market. We have review classes. So every Sunday, guys. So if I go to the schedule, let me explain you the schedule like this. On Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday, we are teaching, let's say when we're on Java, we are teaching Java. On Sunday, guys, I go, right, I do the review of the whole week to make sure that whatever is learned during Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday, we're not learning something new, but we're going over everything that we learned during that week. And on Wednesday, as Ander mentioned, on Wednesday, we have soft skill classes, which we don't learn coding, but they will learn about what are these methodologies, what are the, right, how to talk about yourself, how to talk about your project, right, to make sure that you are able to express yourself in good terminology, technical terminology. So review classes on Sundays. You have a lot of quizzes and assessments that we share with the students, let's say once in a couple of weeks, to make sure that they're learning. And also the mentor sessions that I said, like with small groups, after they learn, right, after 3 or 4 months, when they learn something, then we start these sessions to make sure that they are learning even more technical terminology. So the job placement part. So today Ahmed is not here and he's not able to explain this part, but he's the expert of the job placement because he's also the lead of the job placement team. So we help you with the mock interviews. At the end of the bootcamp, we interview our students one by one to make sure that they know Java, they know Selenium, they know TestNG, Cucumber, SQL, API, GitHub, Jira, all these tools. If they're ready, then we start, like, we tell them to start building their resume, and then we go over their resume, and then they start applying for the jobs. So building the resume will help them how to apply for the job, right? Even timing is very important, and we push them to apply as many jobs as possible. So I know, guys, that I would wish that you apply in 2 jobs and then you get 2 interviews and then you get 1 offer, but that's not possible. You have to apply to hundreds of jobs per day. Every day you apply to a lot of jobs until they start giving you interviews. You mess up the first interviews, but after some experience, then you start going better and better, and then you're able to ace the interview. Okay, so soft skills classes, we give information about the market, right? Towards the end of the bootcamp, we have the mentoring with our mentors, right? And also there are now hundreds of alumni which have done the bootcamp, like Under. They are working in the field, and they are, right, they are going to, maybe sometimes there are job openings in their companies, and they share with us, and then we share it with our students. And also, what is one of the important things, how to negotiate your salary. Sometimes they can give you a low salary, sometimes they give you high, sometimes there are spam job openings. You have to be careful from them. So our job placement team, they will help you with that part. So we can say, right, you can go yourself, guys, to the to different websites. So go to Glassdoor, go to Dice, go to ZipRecruiter, different websites, and look what is a salary for a software development engineering test, STET, right? Or QA automation. QA meaning quality assurance. So look, and we can tell you that most of our students, if not all of them, they find a job with a salary above 100, right? So 6-digit. There are some cases when a student, for example, in the previous info session, there was a student, she got, I think, 90 or 95. She said, I'm good with that because I just wanted to start. There are some cases, but most of the time, most of the students, they find a job which is higher than 100 per year. So we have students working in different companies, right? These are some of the companies that our students are, or let's say our alumni are working. And of course, right, there are a lot of other companies that we have. So also we have questions that are asking in the interviews, and we share with our students before they go to the interviews. Okay. So at this point, guys, I'm going to invite Eric. So he's going to talk about pricing and everything from the sales perspective. And then I'm going to come back and ask any other questions if you have any other questions.
All right. Thanks so much, Ilan. I want to ask everybody who's in attendance, how many of you know someone who got a degree and they aren't even working in that field? So they went to college, they spent all this money, they have their undergrad degree, in some cases even a graduate degree, and then they aren't even working in that field today. Anybody know someone like that? I'm just checking over here to the chat. Kevin says me. I asked that question in a previous session, and I had a bunch of people just chiming in saying, yes, that's me. I have family who did that. You know, I have family who studied to, I won't name the person, I won't do that to her, but I have family who went to school to become a psychologist, never worked in psychology. I have family who studied engineering, never worked as an engineer. So check out the average cost of college tuition these days. And when you throw in all the extras, such as room, board, supplies, other expenses, what are you looking at? You're looking at on average over $36,000 a year. It's pretty crazy, isn't it? Now, obviously, you can get a scholarship. You know, I have two of my kids got scholarships, and that certainly comes in handy. You know, there are grants you can receive, sure. But let's say you're not getting that. And to top it off, what if you go to a private university? You know, private universities can easily be 50, 60 plus $1,000 a year. So you think about this. After 4 years, you're spending well over 100, maybe even $200,000 that you might have in student loan debt. And then after you get your degree, do they help you with job placement? No, you might not even get a job afterwards. You might decide after all that time, all that effort, all that money that you're out, you might not even want to be in that field. So if you think about it, these universities like, you know, Yale, University of Michigan, Florida, whatever the case may be, they're not incentivized to help you find a job. Now, when it comes to boot camps, the average boot camp is over $13,000, which is cost prohibitive for a lot of folks. So here's what we've done to help people get their new career and really their new life started. We have the tuition broken down into 2 parts, and I want to walk you through exactly how that works. So now we would love it if everyone on this webinar right now became one of our students and ultimately a graduate of our boot camp, but it can be, again, cost prohibitive for a lot of folks. So to help out with the cost of tuition, we have a very creative way to make it attainable for most people. So instead of being responsible for the entire tuition up front, our regular tuition of $52.49, here's what we do.
Are
You pay.
sharing your screen? Do you want to share your screen?
Is my screen not being shared?
No.
Oh, sorry about that, guys. I am showing a new, yeah, I was showing that it is being shared. That's interesting. How about now? Yeah, you guys see it? Okay, regular tuition $52.49. Okay, very good, very good. Okay, so our regular tuition is $52.49. And so what we do is, and let me just take it a step further because we actually do have a little bit of a discount. We have an early bird discount of $250. So for those of you in attendance tonight, it's $250 off. That deadline for that to sign up is going to be September the 1st, which is, again, right around the corner. Now, notice what we do here. Check this out. That brings it down to $49.99. It's not everything up front. You pay in 7 monthly installments of $714. So $714 per month. Now, I said a moment ago, the average boot camp is well over $13,000. So here's what we do for the balance. And what we've done is we've incentivized ourselves to help you in job placement. Like Elian said, we're not guaranteeing that you're going to get a job afterwards, but we are incentivized to help you find employment after the boot camp. Because here's how this works. There is a one-time placement fee of 85% of only your first month's salary. And even that is split up over the course of 4 months, 4 equal monthly installments. So rather than paying the entire boot camp investment up front, we are partnering up with you. Now what happens is we are, rather than being on the opposite side of the table, now we're on the same side of the table. So I want to ask you this question. So would you agree then that it's in our best interest to not just train you, but also help you find a job as well? Does that make sense? So of course, because again, we're incentivized to help you get hired as quickly as possible for that job of your dreams. Now, you might also be eligible for additional discounts with your referral's name. If you do have a referral name, you would just fill that out on the application form. We also encourage people to sign up in groups. A couple of reasons for that, which I'll tell you about in just a second. So if you sign up as a group of 2, each student will get an extra $150 off. So that tuition just keeps getting lower and lower and lower. If you sign up, if you enroll in a group of 3, each student gets $200 off, and groups of 4 or more, be sure to reach out to us. Now, here's why we encourage groups. Because you can encourage each other, to keep going, to motivate each other. You can help solve each other's problems, work on homework together, even refer each other to job opportunities. So it's kind of like going to the gym with your buddy. And here's a big question. What if I change my mind later? Well, there's no deposit. There's no application fee. You pay nothing until the boot camp actually kicks off. You start paying when the classes begin, not before. Cancel for free anytime until the boot camp starts on September 15. Now, here's where the money back guarantee comes into play, folks. There's a 100% money back guarantee if you decide to leave anytime until October 15th. So you get that's a big sample size. You get a big sample size, a big taste of what this is all about for 30 days. And if you decide, hey, this isn't for me, IT's not for me, you get your money back. So that's why I was saying at the beginning, this is the least expensive, most risk-free way that I know of to begin an in-demand career that probably you're ever going to see. So to learn more about the boot camp, you simply go to neotechacademy.com/bootcamp. You can also go to neotechacademy.com/apply. We make it super, and we'll walk you through that in just a few minutes. We'll show you that. We make it super easy to get a hold of us. Simply fill out the form, make mention of if you have a referral name, like I was saying. And if you do that before September 1st, remember, you get the extra $250 off. We encourage you to, schedule that. If you want to, you can schedule a call and simply go to, if you have any additional questions, if you're like, you know what, hey, I filled out the form, I think I'm ready to move forward, email us, team@neotechacademy.com. Okay, let's run through a little bit of a comparison. Let's compare going through being taught by us, hands-on, Neotech Academy, versus being self-taught, university, online courses. So at Neotech Academy, we're at 6 months. Like we've said a bunch of times, 6 months, really shortening that learning curve. Learning in 6 months, what would take a lot of people years potentially to learn. Well, if you're self-taught, what's the time on that? The time element is you don't know. I would say it's human nature to procrastinate. Some of you probably agree with me on that. I always like to joke because, it's true. A friend of mine, he used to tell me for years, hey, I'm going to read War and Peace. I've been wanting to read that since I was a kid, and he was like in his early 40s when he started telling me about this. And we used to joke because I would ask him, so where are you on War and Peace? Oh, I'm still on chapter 1. Okay, he'll get to it eventually, right? 15 years later, he's still on chapter 1, I think. University level takes 4 years or more. Online courses, they're self-paced. Learning, okay, how are you going to learn? With us, it's hands-on. It's live in the market. You're learning live with real teachers. By the way, you're also learning with people who are actually doing it. It's not, theoretical. You're learning from people who are actually doing it. Self-taught, well, you're learning by yourself. University is not very interactive in a lot of cases. Online courses are not, they're unsupervised. Neotech Academy, well, you learn from industry expert trainers. Well, if you're self-taught, you're the trainer, you're the expert. And right now, you probably don't know a whole lot about this. Well, what about university? Well, the person may or may not be an expert. I remember taking business courses when I was in school, and I can't recall a single one of my business professors that actually went out there and started a business. It was more theoretical. Online courses, there's no industry expert trainer there. Neotech Academy, I won't go through all these. We have extensive and individualized career services. The other ones don't. University might have limited career services. Here's a big one, folks. Learning content. Ours is market driven, market driven. We keep up with changes in trends in the marketplace and are constantly updating our curriculum to make it so that once you graduate, you've learned a skill set that nobody can take from you. And it's relevant to today's workforce. There are some boot camps out there that are 6 months or a year, whatever the case may be, and they just fill it with a bunch of fluff. So they can say we have a 6-month or a 12-month boot camp. There's no fluff. We don't do any fluff here. Mentorship, we offer one-on-one mentorship. Obviously, if you're self-taught, you are your own mentor. How's that going to work out for you? University setting, too many students in most cases per faculty member. Tech support, it's almost 24/7 with us. Non-existent if you're self-taught, taking online courses, and university is going to be very limited. So I would just say this, I agree with this 100%. We are passionate and motivated in helping our students. The program is tested and proven. We focus on providing hands-on collaborative training according to industry standards. And guys, we're here to help you. We're here to help you build your career from the ground up. So I'm going to bring Ilian back on, and we're going to go through any final questions that you guys might have for us as we start to wrap things up here tonight. You've been a great group. You got some great questions there for Undar, and I hope you got something out of that. It's always such a pleasure, seeing an alumni. So that's the finished product. That's what this whole thing is about. It's training people so they can go out there and start their new career. And he's making 6 figures. And he came in here he was the same as you guys, watching a webinar. And now here he's, living the life that he always wanted.
Yeah, thank you, Eric. By the way, I don't know, I didn't see your sharing. So, but if the others saw it, it's still okay. So I'm going to share my screen, guys. So if you have any questions, guys, we are here to answer your questions. Okay, so let me just go back to the I know that this is the most important part, guys, the paying part. So now we have, right, instead of saying that our boot camp is let's say $15,000 or $20,000, what do we do, guys? Let me move myself here. So what we do, we split it in 2 parts. So first part is the tuition, right? So during the boot camp, you pay the tuition, and of course you have a $205 discount if you apply as of right now. Then another discount, right? If you go here, if you have any referral, so you have another discount. Or if you are in a group of 2 people or 3 people, then you have extra discount. We want to make sure that you are applying as a group to make sure that you're pushing each other. Okay, so about the payment here, guys, we split this one in 2 parts. First part is the tuition, which is during the 6 months, right, during the boot camp. And the second part is only after you find the job. After you find the job, we ask for 85% of the first month's salary. So let's say if your yearly salary is 100,000 K, meaning that it's around 8,000 per month, and that's like 85% of that one is, let's say, $7,000, something like that. I don't know, we can do the calculation. And that is, and of course, that's one also will be paid in installments. So it doesn't mean that first month you're paying everything to us and then you don't have anything for yourself. We're gonna give you time to settle down, and then you're gonna pay this one with installments. So we are taking the risk, guys. We're splitting that one in 2 parts to show to you that we are also taking the risk together with you, because we believe that if you take this one seriously, then you're going to be able to find the job, and then you're going to be able to find to pay the second part. Okay, so does it make sense, Kevin? So we split the payment in 2 parts. First part is during the boot camp. Second part is after the boot camp, after you find the job. Do you think AI would take over this job in the future? So we have this question. We have this question always, guys. AI, of course, is a tool that you have to learn. So if you start working as a QA, maybe like in a company, you're going to also, let's say, use AI to be even more effective. I myself don't believe that AI will take over this job. AI will not take over any of the jobs. But of course, with AI, then you have to learn more, have to learn new skills, maybe learn to use AI to be more proficient, more effective. So I remember years ago, not years ago, but I saw in the Facebook, there was a picture. So when calculators, right, when the calculators were invented, teachers were on strike saying that, oh my God, calculators, we're not going to need math teachers anymore. That's why the teachers, they were against calculators. But here we are now, still the calculators are used, still the teachers are there, because also AI needs testers to test the AIs. Okay, so for everything, guys, definitely a lot of industries will use AI more and more, but I don't think that anything will like these jobs will be lost. So about the Canadian and American pricing, guys. So this price is for people who are United States. This is in US dollars. For people who are in Canada, this is in Canadian dollars. Okay, so the same price, right? The same price, but in Canadian dollars. Okay, so to be fair, because the let's say the dollar there, it's a little bit lower. So to be fair, that is the thing there. So about the salaries, right? As I said, like Ahmed is not here today, so he is the one who is expert in the job placement part, right? So in Canada, maybe the salaries are a little bit lower. Maybe they're not 100K, maybe they're 80, 90,000, right? But of course, right, this 85% will apply the same for people who are even if they make $200,000, guys, they're gonna pay even more, right? So and the Canadian, right, the Canadian market is a little bit lower than United States market. That's true, but of course there also we have students who have also found a job in Canada. So as I said, like the prices here is the same for like it's the same but in Canadian dollars. And by the way, guys, as I said, like there are also other ways. So not only this early bird discount, there are also other discounts. If you are with a friend, like two friends together, create a group, or maybe if somebody has referred you, let's say, you know, somebody like on there, because normally, guys, we're grown by the word of mouth. So somebody finished the bootcamp, they're happy, and then their friends ask, how did you do? What did you do? And they say, I finished Neotech Academy. I finished the bootcamp and now I'm working. Oh, can I do it? Yes, just use my name and they're going to give a discount to you too. So also we give the discount to the people that are referred by our alumni. Any other questions, guys? Any other questions before we wrap it up? So sorry, I understand about the tuition. So did you understand or did you not understand, John? So I don't know, like even let me explain it one more time. So there are two parts. One part is yeah, of course, you're going to need time to decide. Also, what is very important, and that's very good. So you have to do a good decision, guys. One of the things that is very important, guys, is that you can decide right now to apply. You're going to have a schedule a call with one of our admission specialists. They're going to explain to you about the discounts and everything. What is very important, guys, until the bootcamp starts, even if you make a contract right now, you're not going to pay anything until September 15th. The first payment is, the first installment is on September 15th, right? So the first couple of days of the bootcamp. But you're going to watch 4 weeks of classes until the 30th day. You can watch before we get the second payment, guys. We're going to announce in the class. We're going to say, do you want to continue or do you want to drop off? If you want to continue, then we continue with the second payment and then we continue the bootcamp and we consider that you decided to stay. If you decide to drop off, guys, we're going to refund you 100% until October 15th. Until the second payment, guys, we make sure that we want you to try it for yourself. Why are we doing this one? We're doing this one because we want you to try to make sure that you're not making a wrong decision, but you are trying for yourself. As I said, it might be very easy for on there, but it might be very difficult for you. Try the first month. If you don't like it, you can drop, and then you don't have, like, we're gonna refund you even the first payment. Okay. So that is in general, guys. Thank you for joining. Yes, of course. Also, we're gonna share the this webinar recorded, so you can share it with your friends. You can rewatch it, and then you can decide. Make sure, guys, you schedule a call, because by scheduling a call, let me go there. By scheduling a call, you are right. You're gonna talk to one of the specialists, and they will explain you everything, and they're gonna talk about discounts. Make sure that you're using them as much as possible. Okay. Okay, everybody. Thank you, Eric, for your presentation.
Yeah, thank you so much. Congratulations, everyone, those of you who are enrolling.
Okay, thank you. Have a good night, everyone. Bye-bye.